time. Who did we find out about? Let's see if we can have a quick reminder. Yes, it was Zacchaeus, wasn't it? Shall we have a look in the Bible and see who we're going to find out about this week? Come on then. Goodness. So, in the Bible this week, there's a camping mat. I don't know if you've ever been camping, but if you have, you will know that when you get in your sleeping bag and go to bed and lay down on the floor, it can be very hard and very cold. But if you use one of these camping mats, it gives it a little bit of sponginess so that it's not quite so bad. But why have we got a nice spongy camping mat in the Bible? Shall we go and find out? So now we're going to find out about somebody else who met Jesus and the difference that that made to him. And I've got 4 pieces of paper here that are going to help me tell the story. So there was this man and he had a problem with his legs. And they wouldn't move the same as other people's legs, so he couldn't move them around, he couldn't do jumping, he couldn't do running or anything like that. He had to stay in the same place all the time. But he did have something that was really, really good. The man had 4 really, really good friends. And his friends had heard that Jesus was coming to their town. So they were really, really excited because they'd heard about the amazing things that Jesus had been saying and doing before. And they thought to themselves, if Jesus can do amazing things, maybe he can do something really amazing for our friend. But they thought, how can we get our friend to go and see Jesus if he can't walk? So they came up with an idea. And what they did was they got hold of a mat. Perhaps a mat a little bit like the one that we found in the Bible earlier on. So they got their friend to lay down on the mat and then they carried him all the way to where Jesus would be. But oh no, when they got there, of course everyone else had heard Jesus was coming as well, so of course they all came, they all wanted to see Jesus. So one of the friends thought, well, I'll just have a quick peek and see what's going on. So he went up to the house and he looked through the window. He peeked through and yes, he could see Jesus in there, but there was no way he was going to get in, so certainly no way that the 4 friends and the man laying down on a mat was going to get in. So they had to think again. So they walked round to the side of the house. However, in those days, in that place, the houses weren't like this. They had a different kind of roof. They had a flat roof that was more like this. And it was actually very clever because on the flat roof they could sleep when it was really, really hot. It had a little sort of fence around the outside so they weren't going to fall off when they were asleep, so don't worry about that. So they could sleep there when it was really, really hot, and they used to use the flat roof as well to dry their grains and their seeds and their fruits, because it was a nice flat space in the sun, in the open air, to dry them off. They used to store things up there. Sometimes they could eat up there. So it was a really, really good space for everyone to use. So it was a little bit different to houses that perhaps we're used to. And the other thing about these houses, because they used to use the flat roof for all these different reasons, these houses also had stairs going up. So the 4 friends decided that what they would do is they would go up the stairs, carrying the man on the mat all the way up to the roof. And then they did something really very surprising. They got down on their hands and knees and they made a hole in the roof. Now Now that surprises us when we hear that story, and I think at the time it surprised the people that were around and crashed into that house. So there they all were, packed into the house listening to Jesus. They looked up and there was probably some dust and things falling down as well, and they looked up and saw 4 faces, and they saw the people lowering the man down. They put 4 pieces of rope on one on each corner of the mat and lowered the man down. And then the people had to make room, didn't they? So the man was lowered down in front of Jesus. And then Jesus did something surprising. He looked at the man and he said to him, "Friend," he said, "for all the wrong things that you've done, for all the mistakes that you've made, I forgive you." Was that why the friends brought their friend to come and see Jesus? Now, they weren't the only ones that were surprised. There were some leaders in the room as well. And they were outraged, really. And they said, "Who does he think he is? Who does Jesus think he is? Only God can forgive people. He's acting as if he's come from God or like God." And then Jesus said to them, "I know what you're thinking." And then he showed them that he had come from God. And he said to the man, "Get up, take your mat and walk and go home." And the man did just that. He got up and he picked up his mat. But I'm not sure he would have just calmly walked home. I think he might have been using those legs that he hadn't used for so long and was so excited to be able to use that he was jumping and leaping and skipping and hopping and probably shouting for joy at the same time as well. This man met with Jesus and he was changed. But he was changed on the outside, but he was changed on the inside as well. Now today we are going to make a jumping puppet to help us remember this story. As you can see, he has got super springy legs and he is so delighted that he wants to use them to jump up and down like the man in the story. And he wants to be able to sing and dance and be amazed at what Jesus can do on the inside as well as on the outside. You will need some glue, some scissors and an envelope. About this size will be good, but any size will be okay. And then print off these 2 sheets, and you need some felt tip pens. The first thing you need to do is colour it in, and I'm feeling in a really colourful mood today, so I'm going to use all of these different colours. Brilliant, now that's done, you can start on the arms and the legs. I'm going to do some stripes on mine, but you can do any pattern you like. Wonderful! Now everything's coloured in, we need to get cutting. And now to cut out the arms and the legs. Now everything's cut out, you need to take your envelope and just cut off the sticky bit on the end because we don't need that bit. And here is your basic puppet. Now, to make the arms and the legs really springy, you need to fold over about this much. Turn the whole thing over and then fold it back about the same amount, so you can line up the edge of the paper here with where you're going to fold it. You can see how the zigzag is starting. Now turn the whole thing over and line up that edge again with the fold. Fold it down and then just keep on going until all the arms and legs have become springy. There we go. Now what we need to do is to stick it on, but before you do, just check that your puppet envelope is the right way up. Arrange where you want everything to go and stick it down. And if you think that you need to add pupils to your puppet's eyes like I did, then go ahead. Now you need to stick on the arms and legs, so just find one of the ends and put glue on one of the bits that you folded over and stick them down. Now gather them together and sort of put the springy bits into a pile, which is just easier to stick the hands on like that. Make sure you get the hands up the right way. They don't look right like that, do they? So, that looks better. And then stick them down. And then do the same for the legs. And there he is, your springy, jumping, dancing, leaping puppet. I wonder how high your one can bounce. I think my one seems to be going pretty high. What? Oh, where's he gone? Well, that's just about it for Buzz Club this week. But I have got a challenge for you. With Zacchaeus and with the man who was lowered through the roof, both of them were different after they met Jesus to how they were before they met Jesus. And I wondered how many people could spot the difference when they met them afterwards. So this week's challenge is a spot the difference sheet, and you can print your one out at home and have a go. I wonder how many differences you can find. But for now, I'm just going to say goodbye, see you next time.